Hi there, my name is Richard McMahon from the interview training website passmyinterview.com, and in this tutorial I will teach you how to pass a Zoom interview. So if you have a Zoom interview coming up soon for any role or any organisation, make sure you stay tuned because the tips and sample answers in this video will help you to pass. And just very quickly, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button because then I can help you pass every job interview you ever attend and get the salary you deserve. And please also give the video a like because that tells me you find these tutorials useful and it motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you very much. Let's jump straight into the presentation. So in this video, I will cover the following 3 things to help you pass your Zoom interview. Number 1, I will give you 7 very important tips for preparing for your Zoom interview. Number 2, I will tell you the exact interview questions you really need to prepare for. These questions are the ones I believe will come up during your Zoom interview. And number 3, I will give you sample top scoring answers to all of those questions to help you pass your Zoom interview. Zoom interview tip number 1 is to make sure you download the Zoom platform the day before your interview takes place and then familiarize yourself with the platform and how it works. Now, this is really important. Lots of candidates download the Zoom software a few minutes before their interview starts and they then realize they have to register for an account and they can't get it to work on time. Now, if you aren't ready at the start of your Zoom interview, you will fail because it demonstrates a lack of planning and organizational skills. Now, when you download the Zoom platform, test the sound and check your microphone settings. Now, the last thing you want to happen at the start of your Zoom interview is that you cannot hear the interviewer or they can't hear you. Zoom interview tip number 2 is to make sure you choose a quiet location for your Zoom interview that is free from distractions. Again, this is very, very important. Make sure the room you have your Zoom interview in is quiet, and don't forget to tell everyone in your house not to disturb you until your interview is over. Now, if you have any pets, keep them out of the room because the last thing you need is for your cat, for example, to jump up on the table during your interview. Zoom interview tip number 3 is to make sure you charge your laptop, computer or device before the Zoom interview starts and make sure there is a strong internet connection in the room. Now, you can pretty much be certain that the hiring manager who undertakes your Zoom interview will have a strong internet connection. So if the internet cuts out during your interview, or if you lose the connection, it is likely going to be your fault. You do not want this to happen. Make sure you have a strong Wi-Fi or internet signal in the room you are going to undertake the Zoom interview in. Zoom interview tip number 4 is to make sure you check your background and the lighting before your interview starts. Now, before the interview commences, look at your background and check what's behind you because this is what the hiring manager will see. Does it look professional? Is it bright enough? Or does it look dull, untidy, or unprofessional? So first impressions are very important during a Zoom interview. So make sure you consider the tiny details because these will make a big difference. Zoom interview tip number 5 is to make sure you wear a professional outfit for your Zoom interview. Now, just because a Zoom interview isn't in person, you still have to create a positive impression. Now, my advice is to wear a smart outfit, a shirt, jacket and tie, for example, because it tells the interviewer you have high standards and you genuinely want this job. Because if you can't be bothered to dress professionally for your Zoom interview, it doesn't set a good example. Zoom interview tip number 6 is to go online 10 minutes before the Zoom interview starts. Make sure you log on to the platform. So a great way to show the interviewer you are fully prepared for your Zoom interview is to log on to the Zoom platform 10 minutes before the start of the interview. Because if you log on early, it allows you to test the software again, to familiarize yourself with it, to solve any last-minute glitches, and to also, more importantly, settle your nerves in preparation for the start of your interview. Now, if you are the type of person who gets nervous before interviews, click the link at the top of this video when you're ready, and I will teach you how to overcome Zoom interview nerves. And Zoom interview tip number 7, before I give you those Zoom interview questions and top scoring answers, is to make sure you think about how you are going to introduce yourself at the very start of the Zoom interview. Now, lots of people ask me on this channel, they say, Richard, how do I introduce myself at the start of a Zoom interview? Well, the best thing to do is, when the interviewer comes online, is to simply hold up your hand and say, hello, my name is Richard, nice to meet you. That's all you need to say and do. The interviewer will then introduce themselves and explain what's going to happen during the interview. So let's now take a look at those interview questions I strongly believe will come up during your Zoom interview. So to help you pass, I will give you the interview question. I will then give you an important tip for giving a top scoring answer, and I will then give you a brilliant scripted response you can use in your Zoom interview. Zoom interview question number 1 is, tell me about yourself. Now, my advice for responding to this first Zoom interview question is to use the SEAT format, S-E-A-T, to give a cracking response. If you use the SEAT format, it gets you off to a confident start at your Zoom interview. So what does SEAT stand for? Well, SEAT stands for S, the skills and qualities you have that match the job description. E is any experience you have relevant to the role. A is achievements you have gained in your life so far. And then T is the type of person you are and what you will do in the role. Let's take a look at my example response. Tell me about yourself. Here we go. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be interviewed for this position today. Over the years, I have gained numerous skills and qualities that are a match for the job description. I have strong communication skills. I know how to provide excellent customer service and quickly solve complaints. I can be relied upon to work collaboratively with my co-workers, and I am able to work under pressure and solve challenging problems. I already have the experience that will allow me to get up to speed quickly in this role and to contribute to the team. For example, in my last role, I was the first point of contact for all company clients and customers, and I was required to deal with suppliers and contractors on regular occasions. I already have a good track record of achievement. Now, to give you an example of this, in my last job, I came up with an idea that helped the business collect more online customer reviews, which helped the business increase company sales. I am the type of person who always takes responsibility for difficult challenges, and I will always undertake duties that are outside of my job description to help the business continually succeed. Zoom interview question number 2 is, so why do you want to work for us? This is going to come up during your Zoom interview. Now, it's really important that you carry out some research into the company you are applying to work for before your Zoom interview starts. Now, it only takes 5 minutes to research a company effectively. And my advice is to, number 1, look at their website About Us page and find out about their history and plans for the future. Number 2, familiarize yourself with their products and services. And number 3, follow them on social media and take note of their latest news stories. So let's take a look at my example answer to that Zoom interview question, why do you want to work for us? Here we go. I have wanted to work for your company for some time now. I researched you in detail before applying for this position, and I was impressed with your track record of success, the manner in which you treat your employees, the great products and services you offer, and your ambitious plans for the future. Now, I want to work for your organization because I want to be pushed and challenged. I want to work on exciting tasks and projects, and I want to work alongside like-minded, ambitious people who I can learn from to help me continually improve both personally and professionally. Zoom interview question number 3 is, what are your strengths? Now, this question is going to come up during your Zoom interview. Now, the best way to answer this question is to cross-match any strengths you have with the job description. Now, the interviewer will be looking out for certain strengths, and they want to hear of examples of where you have demonstrated these strengths in a previous role. Because after all, anybody can say that they are a good team worker, but giving evidence of this strength will set you apart from the competition. Let's take a look at my example answer. What are your strengths? Here we go. My strengths are closely aligned with the job description. These include being an excellent communicator and listener, being adaptable and flexible, and being commercially aware. For example, in my last role, I always listened to customers to find out what their needs were, because this then enabled me to sell them the right products and to also solve any problems they had. Good customer service always resulted in increased sales. In my last job, I was always flexible and adaptable. For example, a work colleague went off sick for 3 weeks and I volunteered to do their work in addition to my own to help out the business. Also, in my last job, I was always commercially aware. This meant I always tried to help the business save money by being frugal with resources, and I always made sure I was a positive role model whilst dealing with customers and clients, because this helped to build trust, which again increased company revenue. Zoom interview question number 4 is, what's your biggest weakness? Now, this is undoubtedly one of the hardest questions to answer during a Zoom interview. It is one of those questions where lots of candidates end up failing because they give a weakness that is going to be required in the role. Now, before I give you a great answer to this difficult interview question, here's a list of weaknesses you really must avoid. Number 1, do not say you are a perfectionist. So many people use this as their weakness during Zoom interviews, and they end up failing as a result. Being a perfectionist is certainly not a weakness. Number 2, do not say your weakness is the fact you get irritated easily. Remember, in the vast majority of jobs, you must work alongside other people, and if they irritate you, you won't be a good fit for their team. And number 3, do not say your weakness is that you are not very good at working under pressure. Now, in virtually all job roles nowadays, you will have multiple tasks and projects to work on, and working under pressure will definitely be the norm. Let's now take a look at my example answer to that difficult Zoom interview question. What's your biggest weakness? What's your biggest weakness? Here we go. My biggest weakness is that I tend to get anxious whenever I have to give talks or presentations to large groups of people. However, this is an area I am keen to build confidence in, so if the opportunity came up in this role to develop my skills in this area, I would be keen to give it a try. And an alternative answer to that question, what's your biggest weakness, is my biggest weakness is the fact that I find it difficult asking other people for help when I need it. I tend to spend too long trying to figure things out for myself, when of course the fastest way to do things would be simply to ask my co-workers for assistance and guidance. However, I am aware of my weakness and I am taking positive steps to be more mindful in situations like this whenever they occur. So more Zoom interview questions that I strongly recommend you prepare for are: why do you want to leave your job? You need to have a great answer to that question. How would you deal with a difficult customer? How would you deal with conflict with a coworker? That question comes up all the time during Zoom interviews. Why should we hire you over the other candidates? How do you handle pressure and stress? And where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Now, if you would like the answers, top scoring answers to those questions, and also the ones that we have covered during this presentation today, make sure you click that link right now in the top right hand corner of the video. Head through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my full set of Zoom interview questions and top scoring answers. It's a fantastic resource and you can have it within your inbox literally within 2 minutes from now. It's going to help you pass your Zoom interview for sure. Make sure you check that out. Finally, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so I can then help you pass every job interview you ever attend and also get the salary you deserve. Please give the video a like because that motivates me to create more videos for you. Thank you very much. And don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below the video. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my channel. I wish you all the best for passing your Zoom interview. Have a brilliant day.